What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Justin Rodriguez, your favorite lender here in Neighborhood Loans, and we're back with another episode of Cafecito Talks. And some might say this person is probably one of the most aesthetic people in real estate, okay? This girl is coming onto the podcast simply because my fiance was on social media just telling me this girl is someone you need to get onto the podcast because she's so aesthetic. And there's something in the world of social media and women empowerment that all women all of a sudden looks at social media and says, all right, look, is this girl aesthetic? And they all kind of follow within the same trends and stuff like that. But there is something to be said whenever someone does stand out. So I really do appreciate this person's time because she's someone that is an entrepreneur spirit. I see all of her social media that has grown within the realm of real estate and now growing as well in social media. So thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it. If you want to introduce yourself.
Oh my gosh, what an intro. Wow, I am so honored to be here. Really, really excited to have this conversation with you.
100%.
I know we chatted about this on the phone, but I have been asking God for an opportunity for me to speak about my journey, share my testimony, talk about everything that I'm doing, and this is just absolutely perfect.
That's so dope. That's so dope. And I love, one thing I love about your story that when we talked a little bit over the phone is that you came from a completely different place. Like you were living in a whole other state. You came to Chicago, taking a bunch of risks. So if you want to share a little bit about your journey on how you got to the place that you're at today.
Absolutely. What I love about my story is that I feel it's very relatable.
Yeah.
And it serves as evidence that when you lock in and you tap into a strong belief system and you pair that with really great work ethic, great things can happen in your 100%. Life. I was born in the Dominican Republic. I came to this country when I was 8 years old with my brother, and I didn't know the language. We come from very, very humble beginnings. Grew up in New York and Washington Heights, and it was rough. I mean, I didn't learn the language probably till 3 years after that. Right. Had a really tough time in elementary school because I didn't speak the language. But, regardless of that, God was always really faithful. I was blessed with so many opportunities early on that allowed me to really step outside of my environment and witness just how great life can really get. 100%. And so from there, one opportunity led to another. I have been in sales for probably 10 years, very long time. It's my gift. It's what I'm good at. Yeah. And I started with that when I was 21 years old. I was in the plastic surgery industry in New York and worked literally my behind off. I just went to work, proved myself, got an opportunity to get promoted, and that brought me to Chicago. Yeah. So
one thing I'll say is the first things first, I didn't know you were from the DR. That's dope.
What?
That's dope. I didn't know you were. That's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said. There's this different type of grind from a family that stems from being a first generational kid. You see your parents, what they had to sacrifice in order for you to get to the position that you're in. So it's super dope to even hear that you came from 3 different places, right? You grew up and your foundation was set in the DR, then you went to New York, and now you came here to Chicago. What have you learned from each individual place? Obviously, you were really young when you were in the DR, so it might be a little bit more difficult to go back that far. But going from, the DR to New York and then now New York to Chicago, you've seen so many different cultures, so many different types of environments. What have you learned from each chapter of your life to the point that you're at right now? Was there something that stuck out during those 3 years? Or a couple years that you...
Yeah, I was very young when I lived in the Dominican Republic, but everything is so vivid in my mind. I remember everything like it was yesterday. And, I'm from a fishing town called Pepillo, Salcedo, Manzanillo. It's basically right next to the border of Haiti. Okay. And again, we come from very humble beginnings, but for me, it was the best years. There was so much love. My neighbors were so much fun, and I had the best childhood there. So for me, it was just about really embracing my roots and just embracing everything that my hometown taught me about humble beginnings. And then, New York will, whether you like it or not, will just instill a certain level of grit in you that can't be replicated. Yeah. Washington Heights is basically Dominican Republic #2. It's primarily Dominican people. Yeah. And it's very much a huge part of who I am. And no matter where I go, whether it's Chicago or wherever, God decides to take me next, like that's always going to be a huge part of who I am. Chicago definitely like leveled me up in every sense of the word, from a mindset perspective, and just really discovering my strengths and leveraging that and like owning my gifts. I found that in Chicago.
Right.
And that's what has led me to real estate, where I am today.
Which is really cool because, I mean, I think there's something to be said about a Latina in business, and it's a little bit different. Like every culture is going to be a little bit different, right? When you really think about it, for an individual to learn another language, right, like you did, and you and your family, because I can already tell how hard it must be as a parent to go and transition to a whole other country, not really knowing the language that everyone else around you speaking, how difficult that might be in school for you as a kid, and you know, developing your own mind, and just being able to overcome that is definitely a foundation that, you know, there's really nothing that you can't overcome, right? Like it's setting a ground level foundation for you to be able to say, hey, if I could learn a new language, if I could start brand new, wash all over, what makes you think I can't start my business from scratch and do everything that I need to do to be able to be successful, right? And you kind of went to the hardest place to start, right? New York is definitely a tough environment to to jump in, and everyone's already kind of established. But I know you spoke about humble beginnings. It's ironic that you brought that up. I actually, when I was in college, I went on a mission trip to Haiti. And I spent a lot of time. We ended up spending it was a very, very small amount of time in the Dominican Republic, but majority of the time was in Haiti. And you know, it's a different life, right? Like you see what people do to make money out there. You see how hard it is to really establish yourself in that country. A lot different than Dominican Republic. But if you want to share a little bit about your upbringing, like from the DR, from what you remember, like how did you guys overcome that? How did you guys really get the mindset to get through those rough, tough times in the beginning to, you know, be able to just move past everything and grow to the people that you are today?
Yeah, I mean, I think it all stemmed from the love that my parents have for my brother and I. Yeah. They had this vision of relocating so that we could have better opportunities. And really that was the driving force behind us coming to the States. Okay. And I mean, when we came here, just to paint the picture, obviously my parents didn't know the language, didn't have a job. We were living in a room that my parents were renting from a friend of a friend that that told them about the bedroom being up for rent. And my brother and I slept on the bed. My mom and my dad slept on the floor in an air mattress. And we weren't really allowed to even step outside of the room just because the conditions of the actual apartment just really weren't, I mean, great. Right. And that was our life for like a year until, you know, my dad was able to start, you know, working, and he got some opportunities in construction, and that's how he was able to provide. And my mom got a job at a retail store working 7 days a week, making, I think at the time was maybe like $7 an hour. It was rough.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah.
And then on top of that, I was getting bullied at school because I didn't speak the language. Yeah. And it was just, I don't want to say it was, I mean, it was just not great. It was really 100%. Tough. So yeah, I mean, I think, you know, within all of that, as awful as that all sounds, I truly wouldn't be who I am today without that being a part of my journey, right? And obviously, as I reflect back now, it just puts into perspective just how hard it was. But back then, I was just like very optimistic about the future. And even through everything that I was going through at school, I was definitely very determined to work hard and make sure that my parents' sacrifices weren't going to just be in vain. Right. Yeah.
What's crazy, you speak better English than me.
You think so?
Yeah, you do speak really good
Well,
English.
let's see. We just kind of started talking.
I know, right? I know. But I think for sure, no, like, I can't imagine having a plot. Like, imagine yourself plopping. Well, I mean, you've done it, but I can't imagine like just going to China and be like, yo, you're going to go to school in China and you have to pick up the language, right? Like,
yeah.
It's kind of, Spanish is obviously what we were brought up with. So like I obviously know Spanish, but you know, I can't imagine just going to a completely different country, completely different environment, culture, foods, like, and then just like, hey, you gotta start over from here. So it's cool to see that you've been able to develop that, and then obviously, like you said, transition to New York. And one of the key traits I see a lot of successful people have, like, and it's almost like a majority, I want to say, people that have grown up with some sort of hardship in their life, to be able to overcome that is what develops a trait that money can't put a price tag on. Like, there's nothing that's in front of you that can't stop you from getting to the place that you need to be at. And that's a true trait. And discipline, you're having the consistency to show up because you've been at a place where you have no place. Your back is against the wall. Yep. And when you have no place but to go forward, at the end of the day, you're going to succeed because you have to be disciplined, consistent to show up every single day, because the only way is backwards and you got a wall behind you. So there ain't nowhere else.
There's no other way.
You just got to keep going forward. So you spoke about you being in a bunch of different types of sales, and you coming from getting out of school, was it directly, did you go straight into sales, or were you kind of floating a couple different jobs before you got into the sales industry?
Yeah, you know, it's been such an interesting journey. I feel like God took me from point A to point Z and then back to B. It felt like it was all over the place at the time, but everything obviously led me to this point. So obviously God's plans are perfect. It all worked out. But, you know, when I was a teenager, I went through an incredibly like hard time. I was going through depression. I had lost out on some like scholarships that I had like lined up through some like prestigious programs that I was a part of. And I just kind of hit rock bottom. And I dropped out of high school. I think I had like maybe, I was missing maybe like 2 credits. Like I was so close. And I just like tapped out, couldn't do it anymore. And I lost myself completely. It was like I dropped out at the age of 17. I thought my life was completely over. I had lost all hope in myself and in God too. And I thought that was it for me. I was like, okay, like that's it. Like there's no future. Yeah. And so from there, it took a few years of healing my mental health, and just more than anything, strengthening my relationship with God and finding my faith. And eventually I started to get a pep in my step and the desire to change my life around, because since the beginning, I always knew I was meant to do great things. Right. It just feels like it's taken a while for my reality to catch up to the promises that God told me about very early on, and where he's like, you're going to be like this, and you're going to speak to the masses, and you're going to be on social media and all these things. And then meanwhile, I'm going through depression and dropping out of high school. I'm like, it's not matching.
It's not lining up.
It's not lining up. How are you going to take me from here all the way to, to this point? Right. And so after I dropped out, got it together, did not know what to do with myself, a friend of mine said, hey, there is a job opening at this restaurant in Park Avenue at a hotel. I think it was like the Lowe's. And I hope I said that right. See, that's what I'm talking about. I hope I said that right. And so I got a gig to be the hostess at this restaurant. And I hated it. Everything about the job. I was like, oh my God, this is awful. Like, God, really? Like, please help me. Like, help me get out of here. Give me a plan B. I was there for 2 months at the hostess stand, but every day that I showed up, I was like dressed to the nines. Like I treated the opportunity with like a lot of gratitude and respect. Yeah. And one day, this woman, her name is Paris, she approached me and she said, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but you actually seated me the other day, and I've been watching you now for a couple of days. And I just want to tell you, like, I'm highly impressed by you. Just the way that you greeted me, how you show up every day. You are like dressed, like I can tell that you care about how you show up, the way that you carry yourself. And so I wanted to approach you and tell you that I work for this plastic surgery company, and we're actually opening up an office just around the block. And I think you would be a perfect fit for the receptionist position. Just like that.
Insane.
And she says, here's my card. Send me your resume, but it's yours. I can't even make this up.
No, yeah. And it's crazy how God answers your prayers.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, we spoke about that before we even got on the podcast. Like, it's just crazy how stuff works, right? Like, you're one connection away of changing your life, right? And that you spoke about how you're in high school, you're looking at everything, and you're just asking God, like, what are you trying to do in my life? Like, what is my next step? What does that look like, right? Like, I'm looking at the portrait, and your portrait that you're drawing for me is not what I expected it to be.
Yeah.
But isn't it crazy? You fast forward to where you're at right now, and you look back, and you're like, oh, so I worked at this job so that way I was able to meet this girl so that she connects me here, and then I connect with that individual who then leads me to and you kind of start connecting the dots. And
correct.
The beautiful part about life is you can't see the whole entire picture until 5-10 years later, and then you look back and you're like, oh, I was one decision away from changing my life. I was one connection away for changing my life. So because I was able to work this job and I treated it with respect and I was grateful for it,
yep.
I was able to open up new doors and connections, and it led me to where I needed to be today. So it's super, super dope. So you went from being a receptionist at that plastic surgery place, and then you got into the sales of that job, or?
Correct. Yeah. Okay. And before I answer that question, I think for the people that are watching, especially women, like, I hope that just by even hearing that part of 100%. My testimony, right, that they can walk away understanding and knowing that it doesn't matter how far they may feel from their goal. Like, God could literally change your entire life with just one breath. And I say God a lot, and I would not be showing up as my authentic self today if I didn't give him the credibility that he deserves for everything that he's done for me. So just brace yourselves, guys, because there's going to be a whole lot of God involved here.
It's okay.
But yeah, like your life can literally change. You're like you said, one conversation, one opportunity, and it all happens very fast.
100%.
So just stay ready at all times. So I got the receptionist role, and on day one, I met this other woman. She was the VP of sales for the company. Her name is Kara. And the minute that this woman walked in through the doors, I was like, who is she? Her aura, I mean, she is the boss. Everything about her gave boss. And I was just like in awe with her. And just that first day, I decided, like, I want to learn everything that I possibly can from her. Mm-hmm. And whatever I need to do to, like, become her right-hand person, I'm going to do just that. Yeah. And so, and she's also a very good friend of mine even till today, by the way. Nice. She completely changed my life. But I worked really hard. She noticed my hard work, and then she promoted me to become her assistant. And through her, she basically helped. I mean, I feel like sales, again, was always a gift, but she definitely mentored me in a way where I was able to fine tune that gift and really just like level up as a salesperson by learning from her and her mentorship. And so it must have been maybe like 6 months since I got that promotion. I overheard a conversation that they were opening up an office in Chicago. And I don't know what in me decided in that moment, like, that job is mine. Like, I need to, like, that is my opportunity. That is the door to, leave New York and become the first person in my family to make 6 figures without a college degree as a high school dropout. And this is it. So I was so confident in that I asked my friend to teach me how to drive, because I had never been to Chicago, and for some reason in my mind I thought in order to live in Chicago, you kind of like LA, like you need to drive to get around. Right. So I started to learn how to drive. I was already acting like I already got the job and putting the presentations together, all of the numbers and how I was going to approach her and say, like, hey, like, this is why I think I would be a good fit. And so my friend, who was also my manager at the time, ended up telling her without me knowing, and she called me into her office and she's like, Jatna, is there anything that you want to share with me? And I'm like, actually, well, she was like, a little birdie told me that you are willing to move to Chicago for this job. And I was like, wow, like, this is not how I was planning this conversation to go, but yes. And I really think I'm the perfect fit for the role. Nobody's going to work harder than me, and I'm ready. And absolutely, I will move to Chicago. Never been there, don't know a soul, but I'll figure it out. And in that moment, she literally picked up the phone, called the owner of the company and said, hey, I just chatted with Jotna. She said she's willing to move to Chicago for the job and she's perfect for the role. So the job is hers. He was like, perfect. Okay, done. Just like that, I had the job.
That is insane.
I was the youngest company at the youngest person in the company at that point to have that role. Moved to Chicago to basically kickstart the sales role in Chicago for that company. So your main
job was to get people to come in to do surgeries, right? Like type of surgery?
I was responsible for selling them, yeah.
That's freaking crazy.
And everything in between. I mean, I was basically the middleman between the patient and the surgeon.
Okay.
So it was like patient care consulting and, of course,
okay,
the sales aspect of it.
That's crazy. I mean,
yeah.
I think the biggest thing that stands out to me is that I want to know where you got that mindset. Like, did you just, like, at what point in life did you have that, like, that drive and capability of going in and just saying, you know what, I'm going to go do it? Was there a turning point? Was it the restaurant where it was like, okay, from this point moving forward, my mindset is going to be, I'm taking full advantage of every opportunity that comes my way? Was it when you dropped out of high school? Like, what point were you like, at this point in time in life, I have no choice but to move forward and keep pushing?
So I would just say I was extremely hungry. I think there's no other word for it. I was just really determined to be successful. And I think that going through everything that I did with, during my teenage years and feeling like I lost everything, like my life was over, I was just ready to take advantage of every opportunity that God placed in my life and really just believe wholeheartedly that something positive was going to come out of it. And also what I've learned about myself is that I do my best work when I'm under pressure. Yeah. No, I feel that. No, it's just the truth. Yeah. Like my favorite scenarios are like sink or swim. Which one is going to be? Like I'm going to swim every single time.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And so I think a lot of my life has really been that way, where it's like this is it. Like, so and then I get really motivated and fired up by that.
100%.
I just think that's just who I am.
Yeah. No, I could completely, I relate 100% to that because you speak a lot about God, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why that's important to me is because I circle back into my career, how it transpired, how it unfolded. And a lot of I never had upfront struggles. Like I wasn't first generation. My parents were first generation, but I did have a similar mindset on exactly what you said is exactly the way that I lived my life from day one. My parents sacrificed everything for me. Always have sacrificed, given everything that they possibly can to give me the best life that I possibly could. My grandparents came from I'm Mexican Puerto Rican, so my grandparents came from Mexico.
I was just about to ask you, where are you from?
Yeah, I'm Mexican.
Okay.
So my parents were the first generation after my grandparents to be here and establish themselves here. So for me, when I was growing up, it was super important. Like I played baseball. In college. And the crazy part about my story was that my parents, it didn't matter where we were going. We were going to Iowa, Indiana, Georgia. We would drive everywhere. Like practice, they would work 9 to 5, and then I would be in practice from 6 to 8 o'clock at night, and then we'd drive home to do everything all over again the next day. Like my parents would sacrifice anything and everything. Even though I wasn't going to go to the league, they would do anything and everything for me, for them to see me succeed and be happy, right? So when I got the opportunity to work in neighborhood loans, and very similar to your story, like you look back and you're like, man, I was one left turn away from changing my life. I could have been, I was working with my dad at an accounting firm, and he's a CFO of a company, and I was interning for his company that he was the CFO for. And, I hated the job. Like it wasn't that I hated the job itself. I hated the environment. That I'm a very bubbly person. I like talking to people. I like having conversations. I want to know what you're going to eat for lunch and then what you got planned for the rest of the day. That's just always how I've been. I've always wanted to conversate with people. And that's not the environment. When you go into accounting, that is not what you expect.
That is not at all.
360, completely different than what it was.
Sure.
So they were sending me to get coffee and donuts every day because they're like, yo, you're talking too much. Like, you got to go, go do something. And so you fast forward, and that's when my mom met me connecting with my uncle. Obviously, her brother. She's like, yo, my nephew or my son is looking for an opportunity at your job. And my uncle's like, okay, cool, done. Same as I think. Make a phone call, boom, intern. Now all of a sudden, he's like, this is night and day, though. This is sales. This is something that, you got to hustle, grind, grit. But I came up from that. Like baseball to me taught me that, right? Like it taught me to wake
you're like,
up.
you're talking my language.
Right. I love that shit. Like tell me what I got to do, right?
Language.
Like, so you fast forward and it's just all it was he was networking, grabbing dinners, and you know, they're going to Cubs games, they're doing this. I'm like, this is your job? Like this is great. I'm like, this is the best job of all time, right?
Yeah.
And you know, all that to be said, in my entire journey, not to toot the horn of the team, but we've grown exponentially fast. Like we have been able to grow in ways that I would never have imagined.
Congratulations.
Like to me,
that's
like
huge.
it for me is like, but in that, you know, people lose themselves, right? The more you grow, you kind of you they say don't put your eggs all in one basket. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I dumped everything in this business.
I don't know that I disagree with that. Yeah. I'm like, how do you
dude, it like you
have to
every ounce of you into this business.
1,000%.
I loved every single part of it. And truth be told, I still would do it to this day.
Yeah.
If I put blinders on and I keep going, I keep running, and no one's gonna stop me, no matter how much it is. But I always refer back to, you have 4 quadrants of life, right? You have your family, you have your finances, you have your spiritual life, and then obviously you have your career, right? And you can't put everything all in one thing, right? Because if you put too much into your career and you're not investing for your future, then you're lacking for future self. You're like, hey, you don't have no money for your future self. You're not investing in your family, then guess what? Now your family's feeling distant from you. You're not investing in your spiritual life. All your investments in career. Now you lose a part of yourself. All you're doing is investing all your time in your career. And I would say recently is the one time that I've actually like invested a lot more time into my spiritual life, which is going to church and just like indulging in that part of life where mentally I'm a very driven person. Yeah. So what that means for me is that, yeah, you keep hitting your goals every single year, but it gets empty to a certain point, because once you finally hit that goal, it's like, what's next? Am I going to buy another building? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do this? What's next? And like, you play this constant cycle, and then you just sit there and you're like, is that going to be me for the rest of my life? Is that really what I'm going to do? Just what's next? And the fulfilling part about the journey, though, is you start feeling that spiritual bucket, right? Now you kind of on another level, you're just more grateful, right? Like you hear other people's stories, and I think the one thing about spiritual life and investing in your family and your spiritual life is that once you find a place in God, once you find a church that you really feel comfortable going to, once you find your family, your kids, you find that part of life, you automatically, obviously finances grow, your career grows, but it teaches you that you kind of have to learn to help other people grow. And that's like another phase of my career that I'm still learning to do, to become a leader in that while you're growing your business and all this other stuff. But that's the beautiful part about the journey, is as you grow yourself at a spiritual level, you grow your family, and then you grow your career, everything kind of flows together for you to be able to help other individuals, and helps your mind just grow to a different level. And one thing that I could tell you that I know that you're going to be very successful at is doing that yourself, growing other people, because I could tell you there's not a lot of individuals who have come from success and being able to grow the way that you've done in so many different ways that you're not going to move other people. Everyone's going to be moved by the story that you have. So for you to be able to inspire other individuals, it's going to be very easy for you to get people along your side to be able to grow their business. And it's super easy to have a leader and a mentor where you look at them and like, damn, they're fucking crazy. They go to the gym every day. They go and they work every single day. No matter what this person's getting up, I don't care if they stayed up till 3 a.m. The next day they do the same thing every single day. And that's a different level of grit and grind that you kind of need to be successful. And I know you're going to be able to do that. So I'm interested to really hear, because so far from what I've constructed everything, you're a hardworking Latina that sifted through many different avenues in life.
That is right.
And you got into this plastic surgery, left in the middle of everything, just went from New York, from Dominican Republic to New York, and then all of a sudden you dropped everything, you go to Chicago.
With 8 luggages, to be exact.
8 luggages.
8 luggages, that's it.
That's a lot.
It was a lot. I was moving my whole life.
That's true. You are moving your whole life.
You know, nothing else. Just me and my 8 little luggages.
You just said little. You know they were big, bro. You know they were like, you know. But okay, so now you moved to Chicago. How was your journey from that point moving forward? How did you get to? Obviously now you're in real estate, but how was it? Was the plastic surgery successful? Was that career something that you enjoyed, or like open everything up in Chicago?
Oh my gosh. So plastic surgery sales was very intense. I mean, I was working 7 days a week. There was no clocking out. Right. I was the only producer in that office, so all of the sales, it all fell on me. Like, I was responsible for basically making sure that the doors stay open, the lights stayed on, right? And so it was brutal, but I'm so grateful for it because it definitely helped. It turned me into a sales guru. Like, and my level of confidence in understanding that it wasn't just something that I was good at, that it was more than that. It's truly my gift. It helped me kind of just have that light bulb moment, like, sales is my thing. And so I'm definitely grateful for it. I was there for a few years, and then I quickly realized that I no longer wanted to do it. It's not really it no longer aligned with how I wanted to help people. And I know you touched on that, like being of service to others. Yeah. Like, I, at 32 years old, have finally gotten clarity about my purpose, my calling, and that is 100% to pour into other women and help in any capacity that I possibly can. Because even when, as I continue to share more about my journey and my testimony, there's a common denominator there, and it's been like mentorship and powerful, inspirational women that poured into me. And that helped me get to the point that I am today. And I am so excited and so passionate to get to the point that I can do the same for other women. So that's definitely a huge part of my why. So I decided that I wanted to help in a different way and take my gifts and apply my gifts in a different industry. So I did a complete pivot and dove into fitness. And I was actually a fitness instructor also for a few years, and also helped basically develop the sales foundation for that gym, with helping with memberships. And I was basically doing that, which was a very enlightening time in my life, because all I knew was like corporate. Right. And then COVID hit, and I had the opportunity to teach classes because I wasn't at the office as much. Right. And I think it was the first time in my life that I understood what the phrase or the concept of, like, when you do something that you love, it doesn't feel like work. Right. That was the first time that I actually felt that. It was like when I was helping women in that way, and teaching and still doing sales. And it was a very fun time for me, where I also learned a lot about helping people through movement. Was there. And then a few years later, I think maybe it was like 4 years after I joined that gym, I decided to pivot into real estate. And it was interesting because when I looked at real estate, and you go down the list of like what's required, right? You have to be like a self-starter and like hardworking and motivated and all of these things. And I'm like, okay, check. I think I have all of that. Yeah. But the first year for me was really about, okay, I understand why it makes sense on paper, but do I really see myself doing this long term? And after 12 months, the answer was absolutely yes. Yeah. And from there, I've never looked back, and I'm like all in on real estate. That's just the kind of person that I am. I'm either all in, all out, and real estate is like my thing.
How did you get into real estate? Did someone introduce you to the industry, or? Yeah.
So again, just like divine timing. Nice. I was living in River North, and I have a French bulldog. His name is Finn. And I would take him. Yes, he's the best. I love him. He's my little boy. We were at the dog park, and I met someone who was already in the industry, and we would talk about real estate all the time. And one day he was like, you should consider doing real estate. And I was like, oh, never thought about it. Yeah. Maybe we'll see. And he's like, well, if you get licensed, like, let's chat. Mm-hmm. And I did that, got licensed. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot. God has pivoted me many times in my life, and I'm very in tune with my intuition. So when it's time to pivot and change, I quickly know. And I just knew that it was time for me to step into something new.
How did you or what's your distinguisher when you're looking to pivot for an individual that's like looking to maybe make a change, right? Like if they're not in the right fit, maybe not the right team for them, or maybe career change. What's your intuition telling you at that point in time to make a change in your life?
I think for me, it's all about thinking about my transformation journey and like the woman that I want to become. And there gets to a point, and I don't know if you can relate to this, whether you're in a specific role in a specific industry where you start to feel like you start to outgrow that space. And I mean, I don't know that there's a more clear way to explain this, but it's like an inner voice within you that starts to like nudge you, and you're like, okay, like
time for growth.
It's time for growth. Like you're too comfortable. You know, you're not being 100%. Fulfilled here. It's time to pivot. And I think that we all have that. I think that sometimes just the voice of fear starts to speak, and it starts to overpower the voice of our intuition, and it just becomes a little challenging to hear it. But when you silence the fear and you tap into what I would call faith, a lot of people call it delusion, but I call it faith. You start to get the courage and the willingness to just make the change and go for it.
Well, I think it's just like you always say, I mean, it's faith and you manifest it, right? Like you speak it into existence, but you put the effort and time to be able to get there, right? And that's where I always talk about spiritual, right? Like, again, I'm religious, and I'll be the first one to say is like, I pray every single morning on the things that I want to envision and I see, and how many other people I want to empower on a daily basis. And that's why I say it is like, manifestation is truly real, right? Like it's crazy how when I first found this industry, like I actually envisioned myself like, yo, I'm gonna be a top guy in this company. Like I envisioned myself like, okay, this is how I'm gonna do it, this is how long it's gonna take. And I never forget, my uncle and I we always grab cigars, we would always just be outside just talking, and I would be like, I have vivid memories on what I'm gonna do, and how I'm gonna do it, I don't know, but I'm gonna get there somehow, some way. He'd be like, hey bro, chill out, bro, it takes a little bit of time, you just gotta ease yourself in. And I mean, we hit the ground running. I had a great mentor, and I think that's really what I kind of want to hear from you, is that each chapter sounds like you've had different women in your life and or men who have aligned you to get you to the point that you're at. But I would love to hear the real estate side of mentorship, because now obviously you're on a big team, obviously.
That's right.
Which is really dope to see.
Yeah.
So how has that mentorship been, and how did you guys meet before you guys joined a team? I'm assuming, is that how you pivoted? Was that part of the pivot was when you met her, or?
This is such an amazing story. I'm really excited to share it, because
all right, go ahead.
This is just the story of my life, how everything else happens.
Right.
So before I even, I'm on Jill Silverstein's team, and man, wow,
Shout
like
out.
Biggest blessing.
She's a beast.
She is an absolute icon.
Oh yeah.
Like everything about this woman is just incredible.
Yep.
Incredible. So before I met Jill, maybe like a year prior to that, I had run into a friend of mine in the West Loop at Starbucks, and he was like, oh, like, you know, I had years without seeing. He was like, long time no see. What are you up to these days? And he said, and I said, of course, you know, I'm in real estate now. He's like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Like, you're going to crush it. This is totally your thing. And he goes, you know what? I actually have a very good friend of mine. I've known her for a long, long, long time. And she started off selling copying machines, and she asked me like, hey, like, I don't want to do this anymore. What do you think I should do? And I told her she should get into real estate. And now she's an absolute monster. She's crushing it. She's killing it in the industry. Never told me her name.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Never told me her name. And I was like, oh, okay. Well.
Yeah.
So then fast forward about a year and a half later, I get this invitation to attend this event. And I met Jill that day.
It's crazy.
Insane.
That's literally crazy.
And again, just like it happened with my first mentor, the minute that I saw that, I'm like, who is she? I'm like, yeah. I gotta talk to her. I gotta to know her. And that's how we met each other. And ironically, we were already working out of the same brokerage, the same location. Mm-hmm. And so it was just a very organic conversation that led to the realization for me that this was like the perfect team for me.
So freaking
And
cool.
then after that, I found out that my friend who was telling me the story about that woman, that was Jill.
Yeah, that's
Can you
crazy.
believe
Full
it?
circle moment, yeah.
It
yeah.
was a full circle moment. And it's just like so many signs, you know, that I was in full alignment with where I needed to be. And I'm so grateful. I mean, every woman on the team is extremely incredible, like so hardworking, and just the way that they go about their business and how much they pour into their clients, like everything is just elite. I'm very grateful.
It's dope. I mean, I think based on everything, I mean, we've told me it's great. I just started, I'm about to finish up Ego's the Enemy. That's the most recent book that I'm reading. And I feel like, well, first and foremost, like we said, it's the consistency and discipline and all that stuff. I try to get into reading for the longest amount of time. The only way I'd be able to do it is if I do it in the morning. If I do it at night, I fall asleep. So that's why it's important. But Ego's the Enemy is important in your journey and your story based on what you told me, because the reason why you're in the position that you're in is because you always put yourself in a place of humility, and you always looked at yourself and said, I'm going to take this moment and I'm going to make the best of it. And because of it, there was nothing ever beneath you, and that's the reason why you've always became the successful person that you are so far. And you've been able to grow into what you've been able to grow into. And I could tell you honestly, sometimes it just takes being in the right room with the right person for you to be able to grow into the individual that you are, because you're one connection from changing your life. I mean, the same thing happened to me. It was in my family, right? I got blessed that it was in my family, but I can honestly say that, you know, if an individual doesn't have a place to turn to, that's where I believe that your spiritual being is probably the most important part to protect, because when you feel lost, you don't know where else to go. And that place that you can feel like depressed, you could feel like you have no idea where to go, that's truthfully where you should invest time in your spiritual being. And I can tell that you have already done that, and you're very interconnected with that part of yourself, because you know, not a lot of people can have the ability and reflect on their life and say, hey, look, this is how I'm going to get through it. And a lot of times we can't do it by ourselves. Right?
Oh, no, absolutely not. And I mean, obviously it's diving deep into the spiritual for me, at least, which is my relationship with God. But to 100%. Your point, I think it's also surrounding yourself with like-minded people that love you, that you know and trust, that will speak life into you, right? Yeah. During those moments when you're going through a really difficult time. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been incredibly blessed to have so many people in my corner that do that for me, because, I mean, even today, like, life is hard. Yeah. You know, I don't have it all together all the time. There's some days that I wake up and I'm not feeling as brave, or like fear tries to like get in my mind, 100%. Or imposter syndrome, especially when it comes to social media. Oh my gosh, crazy. It's very hard. And so every morning I still have to be very intentional about speaking life into myself, and almost like shielding my mind and my heart to make sure that I don't let those voices in, because in like seconds it could just completely take over.
100%. And imposter syndrome's real.
Of course,
it's real.
And then next thing you know, you'll never see a post from me ever again.
I know, right? no, seriously. And then, but think about how many people that'll affect negatively, because people look up to the fact that you're posting, that you're going, and that's a different level of pressure that you have to learn. Only certain individuals can have, right? I don't think everyone's built for that, to have so many people on your back ready to like look at your content and say, hey, you know, I look at her as like, okay, I got to go to the gym now. Like, you know, Jatna's at the gym, or she's grinding real estate. Maybe I could do it one day, and gives them that little spark of hope that might be able to change their life, right? I think people's success, the gauge of success should be like, how many individuals have I homegrown into a better person in this life, right? Like, if you can truthfully say I've changed someone's life for the better and made them a better person, that is a level of success that everyone should strive for. And I think that for you, it and for me, honestly, like, the more that you grow and the more you have a certain level of influence on people, that imposter syndrome comes up and up and up, because I think at some point in time, no one really thinks about seeing themselves on that type of level. Like, you envision it, but then when you're actually there, you're like, oh shit, like, I'm here. Like, how do I manage this? How do I manage people? How do I inspire people to be better without sounding like an asshole? Like, I don't want to come off as like, oh, I'm better than anybody else, because I'm not. Truthfully, I'm as humble as I possibly can be. Like, I learned very early in this industry that there's a lot of individuals that can be like that make you feel beneath whoever they think that they're as big as. And I never wanted to carry myself in that way. I want to be as humble as I possibly can, no matter how much. Numbers are just numbers at the end of the day, but how many people can I actually genuinely grow into this industry and just genuinely become a better person was something that was super, super important to me. But imposter syndrome has been something from the beginning of my career that's definitely has had an effect on me, which everyone watching this, I never talk about this shit. I really don't, because I mean, I'm very like reserved person, but seriously, when it comes to that, I think the imposter syndrome is something that everyone should talk about. I think it's something that
absolutely
you should get off your chest, because it's tough.
Yeah.
It's definitely something tough to get through. You know?
And I don't think imposter syndrome for me, I don't know that it's something that has ever fully gone away. It's just more of like a decision that I make every single day, that I'm not going to allow it to overpower everything else. Like every time I put up a reel or a post, like I am cringing on the other side. Like I need people to know this. Like it doesn't come easy to me. It is a choice, and it is the realization that everything is hard, right? Corporate life is hard. Entrepreneurship life is hard. Posting the content is hard, but then not giving your testimony, or like your testimony, your journey, the visibility that you know you were meant to give it is, and not being in alignment with that is also hard. So it's just like, for me, it just comes down to like, choose your heart. Like, what are we gonna do? And I literally had that conversation with myself before I started to ramp up my social media, because I didn't want to get in front of the camera. I didn't want to grab the mic. I felt like it was just silly. I felt silly doing it.
Right. No, yeah. There's that quote, if you don't like the pain of proceeding, imagine the pain of regret.
Yeah, exactly. So so for me, it really just comes down to like choosing my heart and focusing on the bigger picture. And for me, it's not even about me. It's about helping other people. Like it's like me, it's this passion or this desire to speak to maybe the Jatnas out there that I was maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, or even when I was a teenager, that I, thought my life was over. There was no hope. And I was constantly in search of like that person that could maybe speak some life into me. I hope that when people come to my page, they get that. That they walk away feeling inspired, motivated, and with a whole lot of hope that life does get better and it can get really great. And so that fuels energy.
That's real powerful
within me to do it.
100%.
And that surpasses the imposter syndrome and everything else.
No, that's powerful.
Yeah, and that's what keeps the content coming.
What's funny is I was just having that conversation with my fiance that we were talking about. I said I would pay all the money in the world to have a conversation with the younger version of myself. I'll pay all the money in the world just to like. And like you said, I never had that perspective, which is really good. I'm gonna steal that. But that
please do.
exactly that is like, it's interesting that you said that, because people, I'm not trying to talk, and I don't have the ability of talking to the younger version of myself, but I can also speak to other individuals who are going through the same situation that the younger version of myself is like going through, and that's super powerful and moving, because I think the more people that know that you have the ability and you can get rid of the imposter syndrome for your life, the more people that know that, the more leaders you can create, because a lot of people just don't make a decision simply because they feel like they can't do it, right? And partially, like you said, you're a type A person. You like
very
type A. I'm probably the opposite of type A. I'm 100% type Z, whatever you want to call it. But I'm that way probably because in some cases I don't want to think about it, because I probably would overthink it. I probably would be like, I don't really like the way that I look in this. I don't want to speak. I don't like the way I speak in this. I don't like the way of this. And part of me is just like, I'd rather not even think about it.
You just got to go.
Just get it go. Keep going. Next. And it's worked for me, right? Like I don't really think twice about anything that I do at this point. And when it comes to social media or anything, I try and do it one take, get in, get out. And through repetition, I've gotten better at it. But I wish everybody was watching me. The first time I was in my car trying to do my first video, it took me an hour just to, and then at some point I stopped recording. Because I was like, what?
Did you delete it?
I deleted probably 100 videos. I deleted 100 of them. And then at some point in time, I stopped recording, because I was like, you know what? I'm going to have my phone right here as if I'm recording, but I'm not going to record, because I just want to get the flow of being in front of the camera and keep it going and keep it going. And it got to a certain point where I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go click record, and I'm posting it. Boom. That's all it did.
Just post it, throw the phone away, and just
100%.
That's it.
And
just got to do it.
That changed my life.
I mean, I'm definitely type A.
Yeah.
For sure. But I wasn't always that way.
Okay.
I think that, yes, there was always a whole lot of grit and this like very powerful desire to be better and to be successful. But I wouldn't say that I was always like disciplined. Like I wasn't always the Jatna that wakes up at 4:30 in the morning and that works out religiously and is very consistent with all of these things. Like that wasn't always me. Mm-hmm. These are, I would call them skill sets that I had to build over time. And it started with a decision of kickstarting a transformation journey and really looking at myself and a self-assessing and looking at all of the things that I wasn't happy with and that didn't align with the woman that I wanted to become. And putting a plan together around that, executing it, and starting to build those muscles.
Right.
And now, yes, I can consider myself a disciplined, consistent person. Very type A, like preparation, I mean, is key. I mean, I walked in here and I was already like, what about this angle? You know, so
right.
it's very much who I am today, but that took work. Yeah. It didn't come naturally to me.
No, 100%. Was there any point of doubt? Like, was there anybody that might have because I'm a firm believer, you do have to protect your dreams.
Yeah.
Right. Like, for me personally, I share my dreams with everybody, and I'm probably the worst when it comes to that because again, I talk too much. I said what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna do it. I'm just excited, right? Like I'm like a golden retriever. I'm just always excited and super smiley and happy. But was there any point in time that you might have shared your dreams that someone might have given you negativity about it that has made you potentially like gave you that imposter syndrome or something that has stood out to you where like they given you some sort of doubt and you had to push through it, and how did you get through that?
Yeah, I think immediately what comes to mind is when I was making the pivot from plastic surgery sales and then switching over to working at the gym, teaching classes and different kind of sales, right? I think, you know, during that time I was getting a lot of, I don't want to say negative feedback, but discouragement from making that move. You know, when we talk about coming from an immigrant background, making it in corporate and making it, I mean, that's the dream. It's like you made it. Why would you
take away that way?
You know, give that up and then do this? Like it just, I don't know that it resonated or it made sense to people. And that was just a leap of faith that I had to take within myself, and I just had to kind of trust my intuition and just like take the leap of faith. But I think that's probably one time that I kind of just had to silence the noise and trust myself. Understanding, I think I always knew that wasn't going to be my final stop. I really felt like God was calling me into that space to teach me something, to help me get to the next thing and help level me up in many ways. What do you do to silence the noise? Solitude. I self-isolate a lot, which I feel that a lot of people sometimes translate that as a negative thing. But for me, being alone is such a beautiful thing because I can silence the noise and focus more on God's voice. I can hear him more clearly and also hear myself more clearly. So I think just spending time with myself. And journaling.
Is that during, and then more so in the morning? Is that where you wake up so early?
Oh, yeah. I need that time. Like, I need the time where everybody else is asleep and it's just me. The phone is not ringing. The emails aren't going. I haven't opened my phone yet. And it's just me, my thoughts, prayer, my journal. And I can just, I figure things out very quickly during that time.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
I'll be the first one to testify to that because that's probably the most important part of my routine. It's like it's a religious thing. Like every single morning I have to do the same thing. It's like I wake up again 4:30, 5 around there at that time. The drive to the gym sometimes is like podcast, whatever, but there is some days silence.
Just silence.
It's just silence. Just drive. Yeah. And like you kind of get. And I'm kind of crazy. I talk to myself the whole entire drive there. And I'm like, I'll seriously, I would make it to the gym And I had a full-on conversation with myself. Like, what are you going to do? How's this going to do? It's like going to play it out, da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then you get to the gym, you're like, oh, shit, I just had a conversation with myself. What the fuck am I doing? Like, but all that to be said, it's kind of relaxing and get you in a state where, sometimes you have so many thoughts and ideas that you just kind of need to zone in that morning, that time for yourself to be able to reconfigure your thoughts and figure out how you're going to execute the plan that you're looking to do. Because at the end of the day, the most amount of money is going to be made when you're able to execute a plan, when you're able to put the pieces together, when you're able to have clear thoughts. And I don't think a lot of people talk about how to silence, because there's a lot of noise, and
so much noise, and everything moves so fast.
100%.
Especially with what we do,
100%.
being, in real estate and also on the lending side, everything is just so fast.
Yeah.
And it's go, 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 go. You really don't have time to really sit with yourself.
No.
Right? And so having that time, for me, it's like first thing in the morning, and I understand that's probably not realistic for everybody.
Yeah.
But I think it's about figuring out what works for you and just giving yourself that time.
Right.
And so for me, that's when my mind feels the most sharp.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I talk to myself all the time.
Yeah.
Like this conversation that we're having right now, I've probably had it 100 times on my couch by myself. Like this is true. Like I sit on my couch and I pretend like I'm already
doing the podcast.
I'm already doing the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm already on the stage. I'm already posting the video.
100%.
And I just talk out loud. And I mean, people could call it voodoo magic or whatever, but
no,
I believe in it.
I don't.
I mean, I'm here today, right?
No, I don't think that's bad at all, because
Yeah.
I was just telling, I was having a conversation with one of my colleagues, and one of the main things, I was at church this weekend, and they were speaking upon the conversation, or what he was preaching about was exactly what it was crazy. It was like really, really crazy how I read the chapter. And one thing that I watched Alex Hormozy, I know you watch a lot of podcasts, but Alex Hormozy said, and Chris Williamson, they had a podcast. Chris Williamson in the podcast was saying how don't make a habit of something and don't miss something twice. So if you don't go to the gym one day, you just can't miss it 2 days in a row. So make sure if you miss a day, you don't do it 2 days in a row, because then it becomes a habit. So I lived by that religiously. Like if I tell myself I'm going to read my book every single day, I get up and I read my book every single day. And I didn't read my book one day. So I was like, okay, no, I said to myself I'm going to do it. So I read the book. It was on Sunday. Then I go to church. Then what they were preaching about was exactly that, is ego's enemy, right? They're kind of talking about how ego can change your life. It puts you in the wrong path. It keeps you in the wrong headspace. And all that to be said, I put it all together. I go to the gym, and the first thing I envision myself is speaking to people, talking about, the main reason why I've been able to succeed in this industry is simply because I have zero ego, right? Like what other people may not want to do or may not like a lot of people in the lending world, the first thing they tell you is like, okay, look at how much people produce and go out and only cold call people who are worth your time and da-da-da. Like they coached and preached this stuff. And I'm like, nah, I'm gonna meet everybody. I want to meet anybody and whoever, whatever. Like, I don't care. I don't even care nothing about production or who. If they're a good person, like I just want to meet with, connect with them, because that can spark an idea that actually can help me grow in different ways that people don't understand. There's not a monetary value behind that. So what I envision is like, okay, ego's enemy. Like that's something that for real, one day I want to be able to really spread that word to everybody. It's like, bro, humble yourself down and get to a place where you're willing to have no plan B. Your plan A is I'm going to get this done, and whatever I need to do to get there, I'm going to do it. And a lot of people fail to continue to have that level of success, and it's not sustainable because you get to a certain point where you reach a certain level of success, and then you start see things as beneath you. And it's in reality, it's like, no, I'll get my hands dirty in any area in this industry. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. In our eyes, it's like, okay, think of it this way. When you're closing on a home loan, like you have so many different moving pieces, right? Sure. I don't care what piece of the puzzle it is. I'm going to be able to do and put my hands in every single piece if I need to, because I've done that. I've ridden those shoes before. And that's something that I try and teach my team every single time is like, if someone's out, you have to be able to fill those shoes. And that's the same thing with me. It's like, if everybody's out, I'm filling everybody's shoes. That's just, it is what it is. There's nothing beneath me. And that's the first thing that I envision when I'm lifting. When I was lifting, I was like crazy. I'm like having these conversations with myself, and I'm like envisioning myself. I'm like, everybody that's listening to me speak, I'm gonna buy every single person this book, and I'm gonna do this and da da da. And all this is happening while I'm hearing someone talk, and I'm like, and then I sat there. I'm like, damn, am I crazy? Like I'm having a whole like vision of what I'm gonna be doing and da da da. So I already know, like you said, it's just you have that in you. You have that like that side of you where you know and envision where you want to be at some point in time. You know, it's kind of crazy, but
yeah,
you know.
I believe it wholeheartedly. Yeah. I didn't always, but the Jatna today, I am very, very certain that there are very powerful, great things ahead for me.
100%. I already know.
I'm excited.
You got this.
I'm excited.
Well, another question I have for you is that if, you know, I think one of the most powerful things is being able to look back at the younger version of yourself. And if you were to have one conversation with the younger version of yourself, what would you tell her?
We don't have enough time. I would say so much. I would say that what you will gain is far greater than what you are leaving behind. That's what I would say. To trust God's timing, to trust your journey, and that everything is going to work out in your favor.
That's dope.
That's what I would say.
That's a really, really good line. That's probably exactly what I would say too. I mean, you know, you just got to keep going forward. You know, no matter where you think your headspace is at, there's always going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, no matter what it is. But you just got to put in the work, and everything will unfold. And
keep it going.
That's it. So where do you see yourself now that you're all real estate out, Silverstein Group? Where do you see yourself in the next 5-10 years?
5-10 years. You know, what's interesting is that I am figuring it out in real time.
That's dope.
And even with my social media, I'm like really allowing people to be a part of that journey. And I'm building a lot, but the reality is like I'm only focused on the step that I have right now. And I'm trusting and believing that as I execute that step, then the next one will come. And that's how I've been operating my life for the past 2-3 years, and it hasn't steered me wrong. Right. So I mean, I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing in 5 to 10 years, definitely real estate. But I definitely know what I want to do as far as like being of service to others. And that's continuing to empower women, continuing to build my platform, being successful with real estate. I am very determined in becoming a top dog in the industry by doing exemplary work and being an expert in the field and continuing to learn from my team, from Jill, and just achieving success with everything real estate related.
That's dope. That's dope. And last question of the day. So for all the women that are watching this, whether it be Latino or not, what is one piece of advice that you would give to them to be able to become a successful entrepreneur?
Wow, that's a good question.
It is.
Just one advice? Okay.
It could be anything.
Let me think. Give me a minute. Let me think.
It's all good. We got time.
I think the number one advice that I would give is that it starts with yourself. I think very often we get caught up with all of these great things that we want to achieve, but we don't take the time to self-assess and ask ourselves, like, am I the person that could handle, right, like that type of success, of responsibility? If the answer is yes, amazing, you're like so ahead of the game. But if not, like my advice is to start working on that, like start working on the discipline, on the consistency. All of like mindset is a huge one. Even if the opportunity hasn't come yet, or you haven't fully stepped into entrepreneurship yet, you can start working on it right now by focusing on yourself. And that's something that I did even well before I decided to step into real estate. I took the time to really self-reflect on the things within me that I felt like needed to improve and level up to essentially be able to now step into everything that I'm doing right now with confidence. And nobody can tell me otherwise. Like, nobody can tell me that I'm not going to be successful. Nobody can tell me that I'm not going to be able to achieve like all of these big plans that I have for myself, because I took the time to strengthen my mindset and build everything else within me. And so I just feel like when you have that strong foundation, nobody can take you down. You know, you're solid. So yeah, just focus on building the foundation. If you do that,
everything else is set.
Everything else is set.
No, it's dope.
It starts with your mind though, and your spirit.
It's super.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to wrap it up, because I think truthfully, you know, you start looking at divine timing, right? Like if you're not ready for the moment, it could break you. Oh
yeah. I mean, entrepreneurship is like, so real estate is probably the third hardest thing that I've done in my life.
Oh shit.
That's high on the list. It is not easy. It is so hard. So, and whether it's real estate or whatever, like whatever business venture you want to step into, you can talk to any entrepreneur. It is so hard. It's so hard. So you have to, you know, make sure that you are strong.
No, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
internally.
No, 100%. Because if that foundation isn't there, you really think about it, like, you can have all the success in the world.
You're going to quit the first year.
Exactly. But what's the point of success if your foundation isn't set?
Wait, say that again. That rhymed.
It's true. It's true. Like, what's the purpose of success if your foundation isn't set, right? Like,
what are they saying nowadays? Wait, clock it? Is this
all right, like that? Clock it, clip it, whatever you want. But no, that is important, because, you know, you can build and you can go to the top of the mountain, and it can all come falling down as quickly as it possibly can. Like, you see some of these successful people that, you know, they have grown so much and have made so much money, have done anything and everything everyone can ever ask for, and then you kind of look at it and they lose it all because of what? Right? Ego, right? Like, they didn't have the right foundation. So at the end of the day, all it takes is for one wrong move and you grow a little bit too quickly, even though you got to the place that you thought you wanted to be at, but you grew a little bit too quickly, and now guess what, right? Like, all that for what? Now you gotta do it all over again. Not to say that you can't, but I think just having the right foundation can definitely lead you in the right direction, and with that comes a lot of responsibility. And if you're not ready, you're going to learn. You're going to learn. Life will teach you every single time. 100%. Well, Jatna, thank you so much for your time today. I told you. Thank you. This was such a great conversation. No, 100%. You're super, super inspiring. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Everyone that's watching, if you guys enjoyed us, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on that post notification, and make sure you guys had your notebook out, because this was a good one.